A few housekeeping items before we begin. Everybody is muted upon entry to the webinar, and that's to avoid any of the background noise. Also, at the end of the webinar, there will be an anonymous survey, so we would appreciate your feedback. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please chat directly to Kristen. And just as a reminder, everybody who registered for this webinar will receive a link to the recording in just a few days. So Connor, you can go to the next slide. So our topic today is unified self, mind, body, and spirit. So our presenter today is Connor Erickson from Sharecare. And then one last slide, Connor, is our disclaimer. So please keep in mind this information provided in this presentation is intended solely for the general information of the audience. It is not medical advice and shall not replace consultation with your physician or other qualified health provider. If you have any health-related questions or problems, please seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider. So please welcome our presenter, Connor.
All right. Thank you so much, Laura, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Connor Erickson. I'm a senior health promotion specialist from Sharecare. I'm based here in Ipswich, Massachusetts. It's about 30 miles north of Boston. Little bit about me. I'm also a certified personal trainer, and outside of work, I love to run, hike, do pretty much everything active. So it's really nice to virtually meet you all today, and I'm excited to be here. Our webinar is all about the connections between our mind, body, and spirit, and how the strength of these connections impacts our overall well-being. As a believer myself about practices like meditation and journaling and how they can foster mental, physical, and spiritual well-being, I'm thrilled to be here to lead today's session. Before we get started, I just have a few housekeeping items to mention. If you are new to Sharecare webinars, or this is your first time with a Sharecare webinar, what you can expect is an interactive experience. That's our aim. So we play expert video content followed by pauses for group discussion using the chat feature. So if you have any thoughts or experiences that you'd like to share with the group, please do so in the chat feature during those discussion portions, and we'll get to your responses then, as well as any questions you might have during the presentation. And finally, if you notice any issues, any technical difficulties, please let us know in the chat. If multiple people are having the same issue, I'll know it's something on my end that I need to fix. And if not, just encourage you to leave the meeting and log back in. So with that, let's get started with today's agenda. So today's session will explore how stress impacts the body and mind, the powerful link between thoughts and physical health, and how movement promotes healing. We'll also cover practical techniques for calming your mind and share key takeaways to help you live healthier. So first, let's hear from a medical doctor on how stress affects our body and the importance of managing our stress for total health in the How Stress Affects the Body section.
So stress serves a purpose in our lives. When we're faced with trauma or something upsetting, our body reacts by creating stress hormones called adrenaline and cortisol. That allows us to have our fight or flight response, which is a survival mechanism. However, when chronic stress goes on for days or months or years, and you have these consistently elevated levels of adrenaline and cortisol, that's when it becomes unhealthy for your body. And that's when it can cause health problems. There's many conditions that can erupt from chronic stress. Heart disease, obesity, headaches, digestive problems, insomnia, memory impairment, and depression, just to name a few. In fact, chronic stress can even reduce your immune system so that it's harder to fight off colds and flu. So that's why it's so important to try to manage your daily stress so that it doesn't do harm over time.
All right, that brings us to our first discussion questions shown here on the screen. And so again, if you have some thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, please answer these questions in the chat. And while you're collecting your thoughts, I'll summarize what we just heard from our first expert. First, she talks about the stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, also known as the fight or flight hormones. And these hormones are invaluable in certain high stress situations that call for them. However, she goes on to say that elevated levels of adrenaline and cortisol can lead to chronic stress, which can amount to reduced immune system function and lead to chronic conditions like heart disease, headaches, digestive problems, and depression. So the takeaway here is that it's important to create or maintain habits to manage our daily stress in a healthy way on a regular basis. All right, great. I'm seeing some responses coming through in the chat. Which is great. I see your response here, Susan. Your stressors are work and you walk sometimes for miles. Absolutely. Walking is a fantastic way to manage stress. And it really knows a good example of that mind-body connection, which we'll talk a little bit more about later as well. See your response, Laura, not enough time to do everything. Absolutely. So much to do, so little time.
Yeah, Connor, please don't read out the person's name.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. We just want to keep the participants anonymous. So we'll they're just responding to the hosts and the panelists. So they cannot see other folks' chats, which helps it keep anonymous, but feel free to read out some of the responses.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Seeing a lot of great responses here. You said tone of others, negative mindsets can be really stressful to deal with people like that, especially, in a professional or personal setting. I'm seeing some more exercise responses, running. Again, with that mind-body connection, absolutely. It's a fantastic way to reduce stress, add some mental clarity. A lot of great responses here. People focusing on things that they enjoy, watching videos, listening to music, taking a long drive, clear your head. Absolutely. Seeing a lot of stressors coming in about family, caring for parents, elderly parents. Can be really stressful situations, can add a lot of stress into our lives. And when that becomes chronic stress, it can boil over into other things. So a lot of great stress management tactics here: walking, journaling, doing yoga. Absolutely. These are really great, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and experiences. Just read one more here. Really like this person said, just laugh. just laugh at anything. It can be about anything. It doesn't have to. Just the act of laughing can make you feel better, can make you smile, can make you forget about what was stressing you out, can really change your perspective just by doing something so simple as just laughing. Um, that's great. So I'm seeing a lot more responses coming in. I really appreciate your thoughts and experiences and sharing them in the chat. I'll move on to our next section here, and feel free to keep sending these responses in the chat if you have more thoughts as we move on. All right, so our next section is an infographic. It's calming the mind, and it goes through 5 ways that we can do that and give our brains a little bit of spring cleaning, because as we know, it's hard to stay calm if we're stressed, and even if there's crazy and difficult things going on in our lives and in the world. But in this segment, we'll go over a few things that we can do to stay grounded and be strategic about how we can protect our mental well-being. And this segment does not have any narration, so please do your best to follow along with the words on the screen. All right, so that segment went into these 5 methods to calm your mind. And just to recap, mindfulness or mindful meditation is a great practice to get into, a great way to stay present and live in the moment. And they say that you don't need to do a whole lot of mindfulness meditation. It only needs to be about 10 minutes a day. And there's a lot of great resources out there if you're interested in getting started practicing mindfulness. There's Headspace Calm. And I don't know if you guys have Unwinding or Unwinding with Sharecare included with your rewards program. That's also a really great resource and has courses and a bunch of techniques and practices on mindfulness. Number 2 here, bullet journal. That's a great thing to do. Let it out, give it space. It's a great way to acknowledge your thoughts and feelings. Give you a new perspective on a situation instead of maybe just reacting to it. And number 3, leisure activities. And I think there was some information about news intake in that segment. It's really important and helpful to do things that you like and enjoy to help you just feel better and improve your mental clarity and well-being. Number 4, decluttering your space. Absolutely. If you've heard of the phrase, a cluttered space is a cluttered mind, I think that there's a lot of truth to that. And I know for me, it's when I clean my space, I just instantly feel better. And, I think it just really shows that connection between the physical and the mental. And number 5, connecting with others. So taking that time to connect with your loved ones, your friends and family, and establishing that meaningful connection works wonders for your mental health. So before we move on, I'd like to open this up to the group. I know we don't have a discussion question on the screen here, but which of these tips would you like to start trying today? And if you already are doing some of these, which methods are you already doing? And do you notice a positive impact on your life? And also, are you doing anything that's not on this list that you might recommend to a colleague that really helps calm your mind? And I'll just pause here for a few minutes. Feel free to drop your responses in the chat. I'm seeing, somebody has Unwinding by Sharecare. I love that. That's great. That's great. I'm glad that you're finding that useful. Absolutely. A lot of people mentioning the decluttering your space. Definitely an incredible way to calm your mind. It's something you might not even realize until you do it, and you just feel so much better. Somebody says they'd like to start a bullet journal. Absolutely. It's a great way to calm your mind. And it's easy too. It doesn't have to take up a lot of your time. You can set 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minutes a day to doing it. Just jot down whatever is on your mind. Oh, I love this. Somebody put in music. Absolutely. That's a great one to add. Seeing a lot of great responses in the chat. Thank you guys for sharing. Seeing a lot of people practice mindfulness meditation and use journaling along with it. It's a great combo to have. And they both relate to acknowledging your thoughts and just kind of becoming aware. Seeing a lot more about decluttering space. Yes. And it's one of those things too. I know for me, every time I clean my room or my house or my car, I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep it this way. And then a month later, a week later, whatever, it needs to be cleaned again. So it's just one of those maintenance things ongoing, but always feels so good after you're done. Perfect. Really great responses here, guys. One question on unwinding. What I can tell you about unwinding is they have courses, so you can sign up for a course and then they'll give you like X amount of practices to complete the course. And there's learning material as well as guided mindfulness sessions. So definitely recommend checking that out. It's all on the app too. So you just download the Unwinding by Sharecare app. It's its own app and a ton of great mindfulness lessons and practices on there. Then I see a lot of great responses coming in as well, reading, exercising, playing music. These are awesome, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I'm gonna move on to the next section here, but if you still have more to share, keep sending them in the chat. Really appreciate hearing from you. So our next section is all about fighting cancer with your mind. It's about, or it's from an oncology researcher, and she discusses how our thoughts are connected to our physical health.
Your mind can absolutely help you fight cancer or any disease that you're battling. And that's because there is a documented mind-body connection now. That is no longer up for debate. Science knows that your mind affects the inner chemistry of your body. So for example, if you're feeling thoughts or emotions that make you feel relaxed or at ease or happy or joyful, the master glands in your brain are going to spew out a flood of hormones and chemicals that flood your bloodstream and then tell your cells what to do, including your immune cells. So things like serotonin, relaxin, and oxytocin are sent from your brain, the master glands in your brain, all the way through your body. And what they tell your immune system to do is turn on and start being active. So it actually activates your white blood cells and your natural killer cells. These kinds of emotions and feelings will also increase the number of natural killer cells and white blood cells. So yes, absolutely what you're thinking and feeling can help your immune system fight cancer. And the opposite is also true. If you're stuck in fight or flight response, or if you're stuck in stress or anger or anything that's really eliciting a fight or flight response, your immune system does not work very well in the fight or flight response. And that's just evolution. When you're running from a tiger, you're not supposed to be working on your pneumonia. So your immune system doesn't turn on until you get out of that stress response. So it's very important to manage your stress whenever you're dealing with any illness. So one of the ways the radical remission survivors that I study use their mind to help their body is through a practice called visualization. And that means picking an image that means something to you, whether it's, popping your cancer cells like bubbles, or she imagines herself as Tinkerbell spreading honey, healing honey throughout her body. Whatever the image is for you, take some time every day to get quiet, close your eyes, and imagine something happening to your cancer that means something to you. So imagine your cancer going away, and it's helpful if you can think of a precise image, but again, it needs to be particular to you.
All right, that was an enlightening segment from our oncology researcher. And just to recap it, I was thinking we could do a visualization technique here just before we move on to the next section. Just a 1 to 2 minute practice as an example. But before we jump into that, just recap that segment. She talked about how our minds affects our inner chemistry of our body, and we can kind of control that with how we think about different things, and how positive emotions and hormones, or certain types of hormones, can help activate and support positive immune functions, and how the opposite is true too. If we're constantly stuck in fight or flight mode, we're chronically stressed, that can hinder immune functions. And then she wrapped it up by talking about visualization, how this technique comes into practice, and how we can focus on an image that means something to you, releases positive emotions, and how that can have an impact on your overall well-being over time. So if you're interested in visualization, thought we could do a practice here and now. But before we jump in, has anybody practiced visualization before and would like to share their experience? What did you do? Did you notice if it had a positive impact? I'll just pause here for a moment. Seeing the response here in the chat. that this person has practiced visualization. It works, and it's something, the idea of it, you think about it and you manifest it, and manifested that job. That's amazing. Congratulations. It's really a powerful tool. This person notices when their body's relaxed, their tension goes away. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a quick visualization story to tell too. I had a teacher that was really into visualization, and she was telling us about a research study where they found two groups, or they found a group of people, divided them into two groups. All of these people were non-basketball players, and they wanted to study visualization. So they divided the group in half. One group spent X amount of hours per day for a whole week practicing shooting a basketball from the 3-point line. And the other group, they had just sit and visualize themselves scoring a basketball from the 3-point line. And then at the end of the week, they compared the two. And what they found out was the group that visualized scoring the basketballs scored more shots than the group that spent all week practicing. Which is just, I mean, it just shows the power of visualization. I don't know the full details of the story, what the athlete level on both groups are, but that one stuck with me, especially as we're talking about visualization here. So let's do a quick practice if you guys want. Just we'll take a minute or two, start off by getting in a comfortable seat, relaxing your body, feet flat on the floor. Can lay down if you're interested and able to. And just take a moment here to think of something that makes you extremely happy. A person, a place, a thing, could be an object. And just take a moment to think of it. Think of your favorite thing in the world, thing that makes you most happy. And then once you have your image, slowly close your eyes and focus on your breath, and take one deep breath. And as you exhale, bring that image to your mind, that image of something that makes you so incredibly happy. And just take a moment to focus on that. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Take one deep breath. And as you exhale, open your eyes. All right. But before we move on to the next segment, and thank you so much for joining me in that quick meditation break. Let us know in the chat. Did you find that helpful? Did you notice anything? You feel better, worse, the same? I know it's really short practice. We just spent a minute or so, but it's kind of a good example of how you can integrate a practice like that in not a lot of time. And if you're interested in learning more about it, there's so many exercises out there and guided visualization practices that are longer and a little bit more in depth. Oh, perfect. Somebody said that made them feel calm and it was a peaceful moment in their stressful day. Absolutely. That's great to hear. I love that. Person noticed their breathing. Yes. This person smiled and laughed. They imagined their favorite cat from many years ago. That's amazing. I love that. Well, that's great. Yeah, if you guys have any other thoughts, keep sharing them in the chat. But for now, we'll move on to our next and final segment on movement is healing. And in this section, we'll learn about some research about how we can use movement to strengthen that mind-body connection. And this is another section where the words are displayed on the screen. So please do your best to follow along with the video. All right. Just to recap that segment, and we've got some discussion questions on the screen. And while you're collecting your thoughts, I'll just sum up that section on movement is healing. They talked about how exercise is helpful in reducing anxiety, even in light activities. So they said even just a 30-minute walk, light intensity, has been shown to reduce anxiety and stress. They warned us about intense activity. While it can be very helpful for some people, high intensity interval training, for example, it can be hurtful for others that are, if they're chronically stressed or, you are pretty stressed before you do an intense workout, those could have a negative impact on your well-being. So they recommend aiming for movements that feel meaningful, but also joyful. It's fun to do high intensity interval training, but if it seems like a punishment or it's just like a stressful experience, that could cause more harm than good. So aim for activities that you really enjoy. And finally, they said that exercise can help depression and fighting inflammation. So even in moderate amounts and duration. So they shared that example with the students who, they had the group that wasn't exercising, and they found that they had higher amounts of inflammation and stress compared to the students that were exercising, even in just moderate amounts at moderate intensities. So I see some chats coming through. on these questions. How do you move? What are your favorite forms of movement? Seeing some great responses here. Tap dancing, I love that. It's a really fun and a good workout. Dance, absolutely. Yes, somebody said having a dog helps them remember to get up and move. Yes, you've got no choice. You got to take the dog out every morning, every night. It's a great way to stay active. Person says they enjoy walking. It helps them clear their mind, like going to walk in nature, watching the birds, makes the time fly by. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's good to focus on those things too. It helps your mental well-being if you're, focused on nature or, the water where you're walking. You can't focus on two things at once. So it's a great way to reduce stress there. See some other responses here. Getting up and stretching is helpful. Absolutely. That's a great one. See some other responses coming in. Walking, golf. Absolutely. Seen some really good responses here, guys. Thank you for sharing. Person says they use the fitness app on their phone, alternating strength training and dance classes. That sounds really fun and a great way to stay active. Team sports. Yeah, that's a fun way. Also getting that social connection as well. Somebody says they have to schedule or it won't happen. They're a morning person. Definitely. I'm with you there. If I don't run first thing in the morning, it doesn't happen. And it just makes a huge difference for the rest of the day too. Just feel way better once you get an exercise session in. All right, seeing a lot of great responses here, guys. We're gonna move on to the key takeaways. If you have more thoughts, please keep sending them in the chat. All right. So that brings us to our key takeaways today. We've got managing stress to avoid decreased immune system function. We heard a little bit about news intake. It's important to be informed but not overwhelmed, making sure you're getting a couple of different sources. Being mindful and staying positive can help. It's a really powerful tactic in fighting diseases, and movement helps the mind, body, and spirit. And one final takeaway, if I could sum this up in one sentence, I'd say that integrating mental, physical, and spiritual well-being practices into one's lifestyle leads to enhancing one's overall health and well-being. All right, so I want to thank you all so much for taking the time today, and I really appreciate your engagement. It's really inspiring to read all of your responses and experiences. I really appreciate your time today. And at this point, I will open it up to any questions or comments. If you have any extra takeaways that you'd like to share with the group, please let us know in the chat. Thanks again.
Yeah, Connor, I'll go over the last slides for our HealthNet members.
All right, great.
Thank you
Thanks
so much, Connor. That was really great presentation. So on the next couple of slides, you'll just see information that help our HealthNet members maintain their healthy habits. The QR code that you see will take our HealthNet members to our wellness programs on ShareCare. If you are not a HealthNet member, then just going to sharecare.com will get you to that website and that information on their wellness programs. Next slide, please. So the health risk assessment, it's called the Real Age Test. So it takes about 20 minutes to complete this, and it's a really great place to start. Kind of gives you a snapshot of your health in different key areas, such as nutrition, exercise. They have some questions on emotional health as well as financial well-being. So if you are a Health Net member, make sure to check that out. If you're not, then go ahead and just check with your health plan for similar offerings. The next slide. So our health coaching program. It's a great way to get help when you're trying to make some lifestyle improvements, and you don't have to do it alone. So the right support obviously can help you keep on track and stay motivated. So if it's something that you're interested in working with a health coach, they have those 8 different areas of health that you could work with a coach on one-on-one with the health coach. And the next slide is going to be, Craving to Quit. So this is Health Net's tobacco cessation program. So it is designed to help users who are ready to permanently break their addiction to tobacco. And it includes all different types of tobacco, so cigarettes and vaping and chew and things like that. Also, Kick It California is open to all Californians. It's a free program that also helps with proven science-based strategies to help quit smoking or tobacco use. Eat Right Now. So this is our mindful eating program. It is a 28-day program that's really focused in on changing our relationship with food by focusing on healthy eating habits rather than dieting. So this program is going to include information on how to manage triggers, cravings, emotional eating, and really focusing on developing healthy habits. And then Unwinding by Sharecare, you can see the 2 different ways. It's open to everybody that you can register or log into this program. So this is about managing stress. It's about building resilience, helping to decrease any chronic stress. And in the program, there are tools, videos, and modules that help to guide you. And then we offer discounts to our members. So if you're looking for weight management, we have Weight Watchers discount. We also have discounts for our members on chiropractic care, acupuncture services, also hearing aids and the screenings, and then also Active and Fit. That is our discount to fitness clubs, both online programming, virtual programming, as well as a lot of different, let's say 14,000 or so different gyms that are in the network. So if you're interested in something like that, make sure to check that out. And then the online health challenges every month. We always have online health challenges through the wellness platform. So these challenges are going to be based in stress, sleep, steps, and then, of course, there's usually one on nutrition as well. And these are actually open to everybody. So feel free to check those out as well. And then we have our webinar next month, December. This one is called Be Well in Winter. This is where we're going to share some essential tips for a healthy winter season. We'll be talking about immune boosting foods, how to do some indoor workout options, of course, some safe outdoor exercises as well. And we'll take a look at the weather and where you're at your home, traveling safely, managing seasonal affective disorder, taking care of your skin, make sure you're getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, and whatever you can do to help prevent flu or just getting sick through the winter season. So this really is focused in on helping you stay healthy and safe this winter. Please note, it is not the third Wednesday of the month. Next month in December, it's actually the second Wednesday of the month due to the holidays. So that's why it's highlighted in red there. It's going to be on December the 10th. So we hope you will join us next month. And thank you so much for your time today. As just a reminder, everybody who registered for this webinar will receive a link to the recording in just a few days. So again, thank you so much for your time. Feel free to exit the webinar at this time.